The night everything burned, the world felt strangely silent, as if the fire had swallowed not only the walls of the house, but also every sound that could have warned me to run sooner. I remember the heat first, a suffocating wave rolling through the hallway, curling around my legs, clinging to my clothes, whispering that it was already too late. The smoke followed, thick and dark, filling my lungs with panic, before I could even form a single clear thought. Every breath hurt, every step felt heavier than the last. My vision blurred as I stumbled toward the back room, the only place where the flames hadn't yet reached. I wasn't thinking of survival anymore. I was thinking of how strangely calm I felt as the world collapsed in shades of orange and black. And then he appeared, a figure cutting through the smoke with purpose, as if the fire itself recognized him and shifted aside. He moved fast but not carelessly, with the kind of certainty that only someone who has faced death before could have. He called my name. Not loudly, not urgently, but softly like a promise. To this day, I don't know how he knew who I was. Maybe someone had told him. Maybe fate whispered it into his ear. He reached me just as the ceiling groaned above us. Strong arms wrapped around my waist, lifting me effortlessly. I felt the rough texture of his gear, the steady beat of his heart against my shoulder, the quiet control in his breathing, while mine was nothing but chaos. Outside, the night air hit me like a revelation, cold, clean, real. He laid me gently on the grass, kneeling beside me as if he feared I might vanish if he blinked. "Stay with me," he murmured. The words were tender, almost fragile, yet they held me together more than oxygen did. His eyes, deep, warm, impossibly steady, locked on mine with a familiarity I couldn't explain. I felt seen in a way I had never experienced, not as a victim, but as someone who mattered. At the hospital, he didn't leave my side. He sat there through the long, trembling hours of dawn, his jacket draped over my legs to keep me warm. We spoke in fragments about what happened, about fear, about small, meaningless things that somehow felt important, simply because he was the one saying them. His name was Ethan Hale, a firefighter from a nearby town, called in as emergency support. He said he found me because something felt wrong, as if an invisible hand guided him to the back of the burning house. The way he said it, soft, almost reverent, made me wonder if he felt the same strange pull I did. That night he saved my life, but I didn't know then that he would save me once more. In a way no one could have predicted, and I had no idea how quickly fate would take him away from me. The days after the fire felt unreal, as if my life had been placed on pause and someone had quietly rewritten the script. I should have been shaken, afraid, unable to sleep, but instead I found myself thinking about him, about Ethan, the man who stepped through flames as though he had always belonged to them. He visited me every day that week. Sometimes he brought tea, sometimes he brought silence, but he always brought that presence of his, steady, grounding, impossibly warm. We didn't know each other, not really, and yet it felt like we did. Our conversations slipped into a strange rhythm. Somewhere between confession and comfort, I would talk about my childhood, about my fear of being alone, about the small dreams I never said out loud. And he listened, not out of politeness, but with a quiet intensity that made every word feel safe. One afternoon, as rain tapped softly against the hospital window, he told me he became a firefighter because he once survived a house fire when he was 7. His father had carried him out. "He died saving me," Ethan whispered, and just like that, the room felt colder. I wanted to touch his hand, to offer something that would soften that memory, but he only gave me a small, careful smile, as if he was used to holding his grief gently, like a fragile object he never put down. Over the next few days, we walked in the hospital garden whenever I felt strong enough. I remember the way he slowed his steps to match mine, the way he watched me more than the flowers, as if checking whether I still existed. There was one moment so simple I almost dismissed it, when the wind lifted my hair and he reached out, brushing a strand behind my ear. His touch lingered half a second too long, a silent admission, a fragile truth neither of us dared to name. But the world outside didn't pause for us. On the 5th day, he received a call. An urgent transfer request. A shortage of experienced firefighters in another city, possibly another country. He didn't tell me much, only that he had to leave soon, and that he didn't choose the timing. Maybe it's better this way, he murmured. Though his eyes said the opposite, I felt something inside me tighten. We weren't a couple. We weren't anything defined. But losing him so soon felt like being pushed back into the fire I'd just escaped. He walked me back to my room in silence. At the door he hesitated. His hand hovered near mine, as if fighting an invisible force. If I stay, he said softly, I'll never leave. For a moment I believed he might kiss me. For a moment I wanted him to. But then he stepped back, duty pulling him in one direction, and my heart pulling him in another. That night I couldn't sleep, not because of the memories of the fire, but because of the fear of losing the only person who had made me feel alive in years. I didn't know yet that fate had already decided for us, that our borrowed days were ending, that something bigger than timing or desire was about to tear our fragile connection apart. The morning Ethan left felt heavier than the night of the fire. There was no smoke, no heat, no collapsing walls. Yet something inside me crumbled just the same. He arrived early before visiting hours, wearing his uniform. The sight of it made reality settle like dust in my lungs. He wasn't just a man who saved me. He was a man who belonged to danger, to movement, to places where people like me only crossed paths with him by accident. I didn't want to leave without seeing you, he said quietly. He sat beside my bed, hands clasped, shoulders tense. It struck me how strong he looked on the outside, and how fragile he seemed in that moment, as if he was fighting against something he knew he couldn't win. We talked, but not about anything real. He asked if I was eating properly. I asked if he was sleeping enough. It felt like two people trying desperately to avoid the one truth rising between them. We didn't have time. Not enough to understand what we were, only enough to feel it. When I finally asked where he was going, he hesitated, then shook his head gently. It doesn't matter. It's temporary, he said, but the sadness in his eyes betrayed the lie. He stood exhaling slowly. I wanted to stay longer. He didn't finish the sentence. Neither did I. Some truths are too fragile to speak aloud. He reached out, brushing my cheek with the back of his fingers. The touch was feather-light, almost reverent. The kind of touch you give someone you're afraid of losing. If you ever need anything, he whispered, call the station. They'll find me. I nodded, even though we both knew it wasn't that simple. Some distances aren't measured in miles. He leaned down then, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. It was tender, careful, as if he feared the moment might break us both. When he stepped back, our eyes lingered. Two people holding on to a goodbye neither wanted to give, and then he walked away. I listened to his footsteps fade down the hall, each one carving a hollow space inside my chest. By the time they disappeared completely, I felt something inside me unraveling. For days after he left, I tried to return to normal life. I told myself it had been a moment, nothing more. Gratitude twisted into attachment, proximity mistaken for meaning. But the truth haunted me quietly. Ethan wasn't just the man who saved me. He was the man who looked at me as if my life mattered, as if I mattered. And somewhere between the smoke and the silence, I had begun to need him more than I wanted to admit. Weeks passed. No calls, no visits, no messages. I told myself he was busy. I told myself he was safe, but every night a small fear crept into my chest. What if the fire had taken him too? Not the flames, but the life he was called into, the dangers he couldn't walk away from. And then, one morning, a letter arrived. No return address, just my name written in his unmistakable handwriting. My heart stuttered. Something told me this letter was about to change everything. The envelope felt strangely heavy in my hands, as if the paper inside carried more than words, as if it carried the weight of everything left unsaid between us. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding my breath as I slipped a finger beneath the seal. His handwriting was unmistakable, bold, certain, and yet there was something trembling beneath it, something almost painful. I unfolded the letter slowly. If you're reading this, it means I wasn't brave enough to say these things in person. My heart tightened instantly. I thought I could leave without looking back. I was wrong. There hasn't been a day since the fire that I haven't thought of you. Not out of guilt, but because saving you felt like saving a part of myself I thought I had lost years ago. I felt tears sting my eyes before I could stop them. I don't know what this connection between us is. I don't understand it. But I felt it the second I saw you through the flames, like I had been walking toward that exact moment all my life. He went on, describing how the transfer wasn't optional, how he had tried to refuse it, how his captain insisted he was needed somewhere else. I didn't want to leave you so soon. I'm afraid of what distance might do to us. I'm afraid you'll forget me. I'm afraid I won't get the chance to come back. His vulnerability cut deeper than the fire ever could. There's something I haven't told you. The night of your fire, I had this feeling, this pull. I can't explain it. I knew exactly where to look for you. It was like someone guided me. I've never experienced anything like it. A chill ran through me. I remembered the way he'd said, something felt wrong. The reverence in his voice, the sense that he wasn't telling me everything. I'm not asking for anything, not promises, not waiting. I just needed you to know that meeting you changed me. Saving you changed me. And if life allows it, I will find my way back to you. The last line was handwritten more softly, as if he hesitated before writing it. You are the only thing I've wanted for myself in a very long time. Ethan. I pressed the letter to my chest, letting the truth settle into my bones. He felt it too, whatever it was. The connection, the inevitability, the unspoken belonging. For the first time since he left, hope flickered inside me. Fragile, trembling, but real. I placed the letter on my nightstand, reading it again and again until the words burned into my memory. But just as slowly as hope rose, a strange uneasiness crept in. The date on the letter, it was written 3 weeks earlier, the morning after the fire. But the postmark on the envelope was from yesterday. Why would a letter sit undelivered for so long? Why would he send something so urgent, so personal, and then disappear? I reached for my phone, dialing the station number he'd given me. A woman answered. Her voice was gentle, practiced. The voice of someone who delivered bad news far too often. Ethan Hale, she repeated softly. I'm sorry, miss. He hasn't been with this station for over 2 weeks. My breath caught. Where is he? I whispered. There was a pause, a heavy one. I think someone should speak to you in person. My world shifted. And in that moment, I knew the letter in my hands was not the ending, but the beginning of a truth I wasn't prepared to face. The 2 officers who arrived at my door looked as though they had rehearsed their expressions, softened eyes, careful posture, hands held in front of them, the kind of posture people take when they're about to place a storm into your life. Are you the one who received a letter from Ethan Hale? The woman asked gently. My heart tightened. Yes. She exchanged a look with the man beside her, a silent conversation passing between them. He stepped forward first. Ethan wanted this to reach you, he said quietly, holding out a small sealed envelope. It wasn't stamped. It wasn't mailed. It had been delivered by hand. My fingers trembled as I took it. What happened to him? I whispered. The woman inhaled slowly. There was an incident during a rescue assignment overseas. A structural collapse. Her voice softened. He didn't make it. The world tilted, sound folding inward until all I could hear was my own heartbeat. Slow, uneven, breaking. I felt myself sinking, as if gravity had doubled. But the woman wasn't finished. He left instructions, she added softly. If anything ever happened to him, that letter was meant for you. I clutched the envelope to my chest as they left, their footsteps fading like distant thunder. Once alone, I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a short note, written in the same warm handwriting that had already become familiar to me. If you are reading this, it means I couldn't come back. And I'm sorry, but I need you to live. Not just survive, live. For yourself, for what you still deserve. And for our child. The room spun. I reread the words again and again, until they blurred into one devastating truth. You're pregnant. I knew before you did. The night before I left, I had a feeling, the same feeling that led me through the flames to you. My knees buckled. I sank to the floor, holding the letter tightly, the echo of his presence flooding through me like a warmth I could almost touch. He had saved me once in the fire, but this was different. If life ever becomes too dark, remember, I didn't leave you. I left a part of myself with you. And one day, he or she will understand that their father died doing the only thing he ever felt, truly meant to do, protect. Please tell them I was brave. Please tell them I loved you. Ethan. Tears finally came, slow at first, then unstoppable. He hadn't abandoned me. He hadn't disappeared by choice. He had been fighting to protect someone he hadn't even met yet, someone who would carry his eyes, his courage, his quiet fire. And now it was my turn to protect that life. The last piece of him the world would ever know. Months later, when I held my son for the first time, I understood the second salvation completely. Ethan had saved me from the fire, but my son saved me from everything that came after. From grief, from loneliness, from the hollow ache of losing a man I had barely begun to love. And as my baby opened his tiny eyes, Ethan's eyes, I whispered the truth I would one day tell him. Your father saved me twice.